Welcome everyone. I want to extend a very special welcome to Bryan's family here. We made it all the way up from Wheelersburg, Ohio. Bryan was a very special friend to all of us. As you can see by the number of people here, he meant a lot to a lot of people. We're going to start off. I'm going to introduce someone to you that meant the world to Bryan. His girlfriend Beth, who's going to come up and read some of the things that all his teammates, friends, co-workers have been saying of him. Beth?
Hi, I'm Beth. The night Bryan died, I stayed up late and just sat on the computer and read all these things that you guys all wrote about him. And it just really meant a lot to me and comforted my heart. So I'm just going to read them to you now. We had to pick through them because there were 8 pages of stuff that you guys said about him on there. So we just picked out some of our favorite quotes. He was truly one of the few that can honestly be liked by everyone. What can we all say? A genuine guy liked by all, and he has to be called up way before his time. Bryan, as the ups and downs and rounds, you were a great friend, a great teammate, and just a great guy to be around. I'll always take the advice, the clowning around, the jokes, and all the laughs very close to my heart. I'll miss you very much. Bryan was such a dangerous hitter that I would often intentionally walk him during batting practice. Bryan got me playing with a great group of guys on the Bulldogs team. I will be forever grateful for that. I never saw him angry. He was always trying to help out in any way he could. He will be missed in so many ways besides softball. Thanks for being such a great friend, Bryan. Bryan was not only an outstanding player, but more importantly, an outstanding teammate and friend to all of us. Words can't describe the void that we will all have tonight, knowing that he won't be with us. Bryan was and will always be a class act in my eyes. Though I didn't know him very well, he always had a smile and something funny to say. I never heard anyone have something bad to say about him, which says a lot. Bryan was like my brother, so this makes it hard. A better person I will never know. No one could ever, or ever will be, able to say a bad thing about him. I know I would trade places with him. He will be missed by all of the softball community. I will never forget you, Bryan. The only bad things we could say about you were that you loved ASA and the damn Cincinnati sports teams. These things will never be understood, but we have to remember Bryan as a great friend and teammate and continue to keep him in our hearts and prayers. Bryan was one of the nicest guys that I have ever met, and he will be greatly missed. Eagles will not be the same on Friday nights without you. What a great guy to be around and an honor to coach. I will retire his jersey out of respect. I sure will miss you, number 33. Hat was a great guy. Someone must have needed another player on the big diamond. Before I really knew Bryan, I called him up on a Friday night around 10 p.m. We only had 9 guys and a game for the March of Dimes at 8 in the morning the next day. There were 2 feet of snow, but Bryan was happy to come out and help and give us 10 guys. That's just the kind of person he was. I can honestly say that he was truly one of the nicest people that I have had the good fortune to meet in this game. Having met him, my regrets, as I write this today, are but only 2. First, that I didn't know him better, and second, that I didn't know him longer. I will never forget being in right field and Bryan was playing first base. And I'm yelling out long division problems to you, and you could give me the answer off the top of your head. A truly great human being has left us way too soon. He was a class act and will be missed. He was an amazing player, but twice the person. I only wish I could have had the honor to play on the same team with him. What a great person. Bryan was the guy that all the teams wanted. Bryan was truly one of those men who was liked by all, and he was always there when you needed him. He always gave 110% in all that he did. He was truly the best teammate that you could ask for. I will miss him so much. He is why I started at Eagles to play with such a great man. I remember when I was on my way to one of my co-ed games last year, and I only had 9 players. I called Bryan 1 hour before game time to see if he could come down and help us out. Like always, Bryan came down. He batted 5 for 8 with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. I always told Bryan he had the best swing in softball. Bryan always thanked me for my hard work on the field, something I'll never forget. Every time I see jersey number 33, I can't help but to get choked up thinking about Bryan every time. I'm just glad I got to play with Bryan for 5 years. Hatfield was one of the good guys in the softball community. He did not berate umpires, he did not belittle opponents, and he always encouraged his teammates. His loss is truly a sad day for all of us. I consider myself lucky to have been his teammate, if only for 1 season. You will be missed, Hattie. I was only privileged enough to play with Hat on a few fall ball teams over the last few years down at the Eagles. A few years prior to that, I had worked downtown as Bryan did, and we often caught the same bus, and I got to know him beyond the diamond. He was a class act on and off the field, and he will be greatly missed. He was a far greater person than most could ever aspire to be without question, and I am a better person for knowing him. I will always remember him for being there to lighten the tense moments, and that smile, wow, that smile. Even in the ISA state tourney when he lost in the finals and he won the defensive MVP for us, and they gave him a right-handed glove. We were upset over the loss, but he was there laughing because he's left-handed.
Thank you, Beth. Bryan's sister April wrote a very nice poem about Bryan, and here to read it is one of Bryan's great friends, Dan Kilbane, otherwise known as Gumby. He's actually got 3.
God sent 8 angels out to start the game, but something just didn't seem the same. He noticed he needed a 9th angel to take a base, so he looked down here to find that special face. God looked at you and your wonderful heart, and he knew he had the best player from the start. God found his angel and took the very best, but now I have to lay you down to rest. It breaks my heart to say goodbye, because knowing you're gone makes me cry. In my heart, I know there's nobody to blame, because you're with God playing in heaven's game. To my brother, with all my love, Abel. Bryan's aunt wrote this on the plane. She can't be here with us today. It's the nephew I never really knew. On December 26, 1976, the bicentennial year, about 10:22 p.m., Bryan Hatfield was here. A joy to the parents to whom this was new, but after seeing his small face, they knew this joy would carry them through. As years passed by, he grew into a lad, a more sensitive boy no parent ever had. His interest turned to ball, as I'm sure you all are aware. If there was a ball game, Bryan had to be there. Years went past, and soon he was grown. He left home to pursue a life of his own. Otterbein College is where he would attend. He was a little scared and nervous, but he knew he would make a friend. After moving to Cleveland and settling in, still he played ball, and still he made friends. Bryan was quiet and a little shy, but anyone would tell you he was a hell of a guy. Being his aunt so far away, I never attended a game, I never saw him play. I stayed at his home a time or two, but he was the nephew I never really knew. He was quiet and shy and held a lot in, but he could light up a room with a smile or a grin. The wonderful boy that we never knew will always be with us in all that we do. We'll find him close to us as we go along, in the bud of a flower or the verse of a song. He touched our lives while he was here. For that we may shed a few tears. We celebrate the years we had, smile with joy, don't be sad. God called him to the big diamond in the sky. And none of us will ever understand why. One more. And Brian's mom wrote this one. It's called Letter to Mom. Mom, please don't feel guilty. It was just my time to go. I see you are still feeling sad, and the tears just seem to flow. We all come to earth for our lifetime, and for some it's not many years. I don't want you to keep crying. You are shedding so many tears. I hadn't really left you, even though it may seem so. I have just gone to my heavenly home, and I'm closer to you than you know. I just believe that when you say my name, I'm standing next to you. I know you long to see me, but there's nothing I can do. But I'll send you messages and hope you understand that when your time comes to cross over, I'll be there to take your hand. That's it, Liz.
I'd like to introduce to everybody Brian's father, Everett.
For those of you that haven't met me, I'm Brian's dad. This has been a truly humbling experience for me. I love you all. Thank you.
Next person I'd like to introduce is Brian's mother, Patty.
I'd like to say I've watched Bryan play on this field many times. And after I got that phone call Friday night, and I was sitting in my office Saturday night, the one thing that always worried me was Bryan was up here and he didn't have any family, he was alone. After reading everything on the computer, I finally made myself get off about 2. I thought he wasn't alone. He's got his ball family. And I just want to thank you all for everything you reached out for my son, and it means a lot to us. We want to thank you very much, and that's why we had to come back. We just couldn't take him home and not come back and let you have your closure too, and he would have wanted us to. So that's why we came back, and we just want to thank you on behalf of the family for all the emails and the letters, and for those of you who traveled down home for the funeral and everything. We just want to thank you.
Can we get the 4-star team up here to present some gifts for the family?
I first off just wanted to thank everybody for coming out here. I know it's not a bad crowd for a quiet kid from Wheelersburg. You know, we found out what happened, we didn't know what to do. Hatfield would always make the joke, I should be in the Eagles Hall of Fame, why aren't I in the Hall of Fame? Bryan, there isn't one. We're here, and we're gonna try to put him in it. We got a banner with his number on it, it's gonna hang here every game that goes on. So, if the family wants to help us unveil it, We also have some you guys can take home with you too.
Next, the Bulldogs would like to come up and also present a gift.
Truly at a loss for words. I probably coached Bryan the longest of anybody in the softball community up here north. I know for sure that he's in my Hall of Fame, and we're going to retire his number on the Bulldogs, and we have a jersey here we're going to hang up in our score box so everybody can be reminded every time we come down here. And we have a jersey here we want to present to April with the poem that you wrote to Bryan, and it's all from the Bulldogs team. And it was truly an honor to coach and be a part of his life, and we're definitely going to miss him. And thank you guys for coming up north, and it's nice to meet some of you. It's nice to see some of you guys again, and thanks.
In conclusion, Beth is going to say some words for us.
Even though Brian and I have only been together since September, we spent every day together. We were always going to new places and meeting new people and meeting each other's family and friends and calling and emailing each other. But Brian wasn't just my boyfriend. He was my mentor and he was my role model. He taught me patience and how to be a better mom. My children loved and respected him very much. They would always listen to him, and he never had to raise his voice. He was always so level-headed, and he knew just what to do when I came to him for guidance. Brian and I loved each other very much, and he loved all of you too. He has such a big heart. He just had room for everybody. So many of you from his softball community I know by name because he loved ball so much, and that's what he talked about all the time. And I just hope that I can still get to know you because I know you by name and I would like to know you in person too. I just want to thank his family too today for raising such a loving, giving, and wonderful man. The last 8 months were the happiest I'd been in a long time, and I made Brian happy too. And even though he's gone, I'll always keep him in my heart and make him proud of me because I was so proud of him. I just want to thank you again so much for coming today. Brian would have been so happy to have all of you here on the ball field, just where he loved to be. And I just want to thank those of you that were here for me Friday night. When I found him, I didn't know where to go. I was just so alone. And I said, where would Brian want me to go? He would want me to come to the ball field. So that's where I came. I just want to thank all of you so much for honoring him here. He would be so proud of you. Thank you.
Thanks again for coming.